Thanks so much, Katie, as well as Ilyas says. We are indeed heading into a game number 3. There is a massive potential out there that this could be a 3-0. And it's not to say that Onic is not showing anything, showing to us that they are worthy of this grand final. They did start 2 games with 3,000 gold leads apiece. And I think that it's just BTR finding better Lord fights. And it seems like BTR is showing us, okay, this is not a snowball meta anymore. What this meta is good team fighting, good sustain, and a lot of pokes with the Navaria. Naisu, do you think that game number 3 is a game that finally Onic gets a victory with?
Hey, you know what? If that's going to be the case, Wolf, it starts with banning the Navaria, at least taking it away from Moreno, which they do. They do ban it out, which is good. I think all the Onic fans around were like, come on, just ban the Navaria. Well, they banned the Navaria, okay? But this could leave something open, too. This might mean we might see Moreno just pick up a Selena. That might be one of the cases because so far, it just feels like there's something about Bigatron by Vitality that is just, I don't know if they're just a kryptonite towards Onic or what, because you know what, if Kelra's the god in the gold lane, Emon's freaking Batman, man. I don't know, because like what is happening in the gold lane? It seems like there are times when Kelra is winning the lane and he's able to go ahead and do things, but Emon just seems to play better as a team. It seems like the other teammates of Emon is just the utility belt, you know, and then all of a sudden he pops off. And that's something that I've been noticing here more that we watch Bigatron by Vitality play throughout this Games of the Future is the way that they kind of move around the map together, but also the team fights. Like, I always look at the team fights as sort of this kind of choreography. And if you really look at what Bigatron by Vitality does, they're so good at that. Shogun is just that guy to be up front. You know, obviously he has to do that, especially with him usually picking up the Uranus. But then Finn, too, the way Finn moves and allows that space to be provided. Think about it. Niall's jungle was just destroyed half the time by Onic, you know? But still, somehow, he makes this hero, the Hayabusa, who barely gets picked by anyone. He made it work, you know? And even that, it takes the entire team to either follow through after your ultimate is used, that shadow kill, or for you to be able to capitalize on it when he has, you know, he's building those Sky Piercer stacks. So it's just like, it's one of those things where Bigatron by Vitality is just doing more as a team. You know, is Marcel the answer to change things, hopefully, and not have a grand final be a sweep? Maybe so.
Yeah, it's a good step because it's also being banned out many times. But that opens up still the Uranus as well as the bats. I feel like if you are BTR, you want to pick up the bats still in this scenario. But in case they do have the Uranus as a substitute for it, so they do pick it up and they pair it up with the Matilda. Almost an impenetrable combo as we saw in game number 2. And there is some semblance of that in game number 1 where it was Onic then that actually used that hero. Use that combo, Rafaela, with Uranus. But overall, we already know that this is such a good combination all throughout that you can really just plug and play any kind of jungler in here. Maybe you can get the Nolan eventually, or as we saw earlier, it was the Hayabusa, because there's so much that the Matilda as well as the Uranus is able to achieve. Especially up against someone like a Marcel, who is not a burst type of hero. In fact, this is not a hero that also facilitates for a burst, right? You really trickle heroes down with the Marcel. So they do pick up the bats, and this time there's the burst that you're looking for. There's the immediate takedown. And with the Brody, the torn apart memory, it seems like this is the answer. Because even with you guiding Wind through it, once you have the stacks, the torn apart memory will actually be able to take you down.
Yeah, hopefully this is the pieces to the puzzle that Onic needs, because it would be insane to me, I think, and to a lot of people watching, if this is actually just going to end up in a sweep by Bigatron by Vitality. Because we saw the results, right, when they met back in their own regional professional league. We've seen them kind of go head to head multiple times, but it's just like there's got to be something here. Like, what is it about Bigatron that's just throwing Onic off what most people are used to watching them be capable of doing? And these first 3 picks, as you had highlighted already, Wolf, are great. But then, I mean, look at the answer right now by Bigatron. It's still the same thing. Brother, Shogun, I'm surprised he's not tired of playing Uranus. Uranus is not the funnest hero to play, you know? But
What do you mean?
Shogun's gonna. I know you like to play the Uranus, right? This is just like
that's right.
And even our good friend Wilmy was playing him earlier, and he was saying, you know, it's a boring hero, but man, does it get the job done, right? And I guess that's how it is. But then also, this is why the Matilda is so great, because you can just let Shogun do his thing, and then you have Finn roaming around, taking care of everybody, providing, you know, utility and speed and shields and everything else. And this is why I'm saying Emon Emon relies on everybody else. I mean, look who he's playing. He's playing carry. You can't. You literally cannot solo carry as carry, as crazy as that sounds, right? Pun intended. But you need the rest of the team, and that's why they build around that potential. Whereas then, again, Moreno is like a playmaker on heroes you're not expecting, and NNAEL can hold his own, you know? So it's just like, that seems to be what the magic sauce here is for Bigatron by Vitality.
Yeah, and the reason why I would agree with that is because the carry is good versus most of the heroes here for ONIC, especially against these Barretts, and its true damage also is appreciated up against the Marcel, who relies on the sustain and resistances. And if you have the Matilda with you, now you're almost impossible to beat. Now even the Brody is a problem, and you also have this Uranus to aid you when it comes to like peeling and everything. So BTR have mastered this kind of gameplay. If you're ONIC, you want to be able to take out the heroes of vitality as fast as possible. So you're going to be drafting a hero for Kairi that deals on burst as well. That's why the Nolan as well as the Hardy was banned out, because if you're looking at ONIC, these are the heroes that will probably complement their composition and will be a problem for the Matilda. If the Matilda lineup is bursted down easily, then the Matilda is almost useless. You gotta find a way for you to be able to sustain your teammates.
Yeah. Oh man, you know, there's a lot of ONIC fans out there. Kairi, Kelra on screen here, ONIC in the back. It's just, people are saying it's gonna be a reverse sweep maybe. Well, it starts here. These next 2 picks that are eventually going to come through after the red 4 pick for Bigatron will tell us the potential of ONIC making that happen, at least taking one step in that direction. I do like what they already have. I mean, you know, this is already a very strong foundation, but whoa, talk about another curveball in our current meta, a Cecilion. Now, I know we've even seen the Carmilla, right? Carmilla has showed up a time or two. Well, now it's Cecilia. You take away my range heroes.
Yeah,
I still got another one.
There was actually a time where it was Carmilla and Cecilion together. It was Rune Eaters that actually deployed it. Weren't able to win with it. But you're right. This is a Moreno special, and the idea here is to make sure that you take out the Marcel as fast as possible, as well as the Brody or threat to the Brody, and most importantly, you trickle down the Barretts with all of your slows, and you're gonna be a threat that ONIC are playing this game so weirdly. And weird, I say, because in game 2 they used what BTR played with, and now game number 3 are picking up the Hayabusa, which was freshly picked up by NNAEL. So this kind of tells us that they might be behind, where BTR is dictating the tempo of this game, of this series, in fact, when it comes to drafting. Especially now that they picked up this Cecilion. I wonder what they close it out with. They're going to be looking for their jungler. What if they are the ones to pick up the Balmond?
Oh, man.
I think it makes
Imagine
sense.
if they go Balmond, they take one. Okay. Oh, they're doing the... Okay, they're just having fun with it, right? I mean, Bigatron by Vitality up 2-0. It's match point. They're doing the combo,
What is the jungle?
man.
What is the jungle?
It's Carmilla. It's Carmilla.
Carmilla jungle. All right.
Yeah. It's the
doing the
Carmilla
combo.
jungle. We even saw this in MST. We even saw this in
That's
MST.
right. You're
So,
right.
Carmilla jungle with the Cecilion. Are we... Don't tell me they're gonna... I mean, is there some crazy stuff that they can do with the interactions, you know, and this is just... It's gonna feel a little weird but I think it's also gonna put a statement out there if this ends up being a win for Bigatron. How are you feeling about it, Wolf?
Okay, so I always like pocket picks. I wanted this Carmilla Sicilian to be successful actually so many times before. So yeah, I like it. I think that this game with the Matilda, there's a lot to sustain. Again, they will try to out-sustain ONIC. What they're gonna do here is to poke ONIC continuously, force some ultimates, then try to survive with some iframes out there, which will be available for their Carmilla as well as their Sicilian. So yeah, this lineup rules, and I feel like it's not easy to pull off because it's so late game centric and it's so item dependent. But BTR have shown us in games 1 and 2 that they can make things like this work.
Well, we're going to find out if this is going to work or not. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Game 3 here, potentially the last one. Games of the Future 2026. Bigatron by Vitality is at match point against last year's champions, ONIC. Will they be able to go ahead and get it in a sweep with this lineup? Or will ONIC take one game and extend this series? We'll find out here. A lot, again, I think has to rely on the potential to make this work. Here's one thing though, Wolf. You can't let this get to the late game, man.
Yes,
because otherwise, like we've seen before, Sicilian is just going to be stacked up, and it's not going to be a fun time if you're ONIC.
No. So how do they deal with that? They're going to be using this Marcel to be aggressive. Maybe the third turtle is super important here for ONIC. That's why I feel like that also coincides with the fact that the Hayabusa will now get the important items. Yes, it will reach critical mass. And of course, the Brody. You got to be very intentful with your Brody when you draft it. That means that you have to activate it properly. And we will see how Kelra will play with this hero. To be fair, they will have to go through a lot of sustain coming out from BTR. But if they do get the burst, the initial burst, which they are very scary with, they can actually stop what BTR wants to do.
Oh, Shogun. Okay, he'll Guiding Wind on out, but the Shadow Kill is going to be enough to get that first blood in the hands here of Kairi. Oh, the Sanguine Claws. And then they get trapped into it. Kairi goes down. Good use of the claws there into the back. Impact. And now this turtle is up, but they'll just wait. They can go ahead and wait for Shogun to get back to this. Again, Broken Wall is going to keep that turtle there. There's a Feathered Airstrike coming down. Artillery. It's going to take out NNAEL now. Bigatron, do they just want to try to capitalize this on the turtle? They're going to go for it, and Sans will secure the turtle. But Moreno does fall, and now Bigatron trying to disengage from it.
Oh. And everything fails. It's going to be Sans to save it. Look at that wonderful play coming out from Sans. Using this Farsa, of course, with the Feathered Airstrike at the last moment so that they can take out the Carmilla. And good shot calling overall coming up from ONIC. We don't know exactly who made that call to still fight even when Kairi has been lost to them, as Lutpi will be able to take a kill down the bottom with the aid of his teammate out there. So again, ONIC starting real strong, just like in previous 2 games.
Okay, now they have to maintain the kind of lead that they've already built for themselves up to this point. We'll see if they're able to do that. I think this is just a call for a readjustment that everyone's kind of needed. It's not that they haven't controlled the early game in the past 2 games. It's just somehow it's slipped through, and now they put pressure on Emon. Feathered Airstrike dropped down. Kelra is going to be able to get a couple shots off. He already used the torn apart memory, so Emon's going to survive. Are they going to rotate up there? You know, he's still dealing with pressure, but they want to go for this anyway. Golden Hour used up. Niall's looking for his own steal. He's going to get trapped into this, but the fight's already going to break out, so Niall is still there. Shadow Kill going to be used. He's going to take the majority of that damage. Oh. So Niall is gone, and now next is Finn. Sans, and they're looking for more, and Moreno will fall too, so ONIC will find nearly everything they wanted.
Every single thing that they want. They can even take out their third energy shields in here with Kelra being in there, so that's a lot of extra gold that you're given to your gold laner. Gets back and pushes it. Oh. Gets a kill afterwards, Eman then taken out. Sans is on a different planet right now. We always say that Sans has always been one of the best mid laners out there. He plays so well. Whenever he is on, man, he is really, really on.
Yeah, this game, Sans decided, you know what, guys, let me take this game in my hands, at least for now. But it's just been different because of the pace that they're able to set. You know, this is also Onyx Turtle go ahead and take. You got Kairi swinging over there. Everybody is a big threat to Bigatron by Vitality right now in this game, and Keyboy too on the Marcel, which we usually see banned out. There's a reason why it was prioritized, picked up. He's able to go ahead and provide so much information and just be annoying. I mean, look at him right now, just staying in the jungle over of Bigatron by Vitality. And also, again, with this kind of unique pick, maybe this is one of those cases where they oh my goodness, Loopy. Yep, he took the purple. Loopy got the purple. Okay. So that maybe it's one of those cases, Wolf, where they just kind of overcooked and Sans gets another one on Emon.
Yeah. Sometimes there are just games where you are so ahead and you are incentivized by being so aggressive. Sometimes you're not, but this game definitely is a game that incentivizes aggression from ONIC, as they are now controlling the map and they're taking so much away from BTR. However, it still is the early game, right? If there's anything that we've learned from the past two games that we've seen, is that you're never going to be complacent if you're ONIC. There could be a lot of angles for BTR to eventually come back from this game.
Yeah, this is, okay, Shogun, he just tried to do what he could. He knew that he was caught out. The rest of the team's fighting in the mid lane, though. There's just not enough damage. I mean, Loopy enough, able to take those bad impacts, and now jumping forward, Keyboy has to flicker, but there goes a kill to Emon. He's able to go ahead and trade, so it's the XP laner for the roam. A kill that Bigatron by Vitality needed here, but they're still massively behind. Yes, we've seen this before, but not this much of a deficit in between both teams, and it's about 6,000 gold. So we'll see. Bigatron by Vitality needs to cover some grounds. BTR, though, they can try to push this tier 1 turret, but look who's around the corner. Kairi's here. They know it. They've got to go ahead and get back, because Sans is also rotating up. They want to go ahead and fight this. Looking for a feathered airstrike. They're going to drop it down. Retribution used. Emon trapped by himself. Doesn't have Finn next to him, so he goes down. That's unfortunate.
No, unfortunate, but at the same time, ONIC are now in a spot where they can control this turtle because of that. The push up top also, my comments as the Brody is there. As long as they see the Moreno CECILION, they know that they can push. From the other side, of course.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, yep, 3 for 3 turtles go in the hands of ONIC. ONIC has ballooned the lead up a little bit further now, 7, almost 8,000 gold. And it's this is why we were saying, you know, it's the case of you just don't want to allow this to get to the late game. There's still potential that it can, but I mean, in this case, for ONIC, it would look really bad if somehow this game got away from them. Just because you don't take this kind of lead, face against this kind of composition, and let that happen. You know, there's just no way I can see that happening. This is one of those games, like you said, Wolf, where, you know, it might be one of those instances where it's just go again, you know, get us to the next one. Because right now it's just too much. And ONIC, you know, they got to wait for the Lord to come up, and there's still a minute and a half, so they're just going to go try to get the shield down here. Feathered airstrike being dropped down. They want to push this wave in, but they can't get the shield just yet.
It'll be settling with this one for now, as they're slowly trickling down the resources of BTR. If they are oppressive this time with this Brody, I think they can easily take this game, and especially you cannot wait for when the Bat's impact coming up from Moreno is too much to handle and you're not able to push anymore, and you're gonna be put in a game where it's finding Moreno all the time.
Yeah,
you don't want to be in that spot for sure.
Yeah, they're going to put pressure here at Tier 1 and the base. Feathered airstrike dropped down. Emon in trouble, has to get away again, but Sans will burn him on it down. Able to tick 1, and now Golden Hour are going to be dropped. Trapped in it, but turret goes down first, and they go back to the fountain to heal up. And that's going to be the shield popping up finally here in the mid. They might be able to get the bottom, too, with 10 seconds still on the death timer of Emon. Rockets being thrown out here. Dragon Shogun back. Kelra is able to get a couple stacks here. Still tanky enough to go ahead and take that damage. Feathered airstrike once again, but they hold on to the shield.
We hold down the jump. They want to try to go for an exchange here, BTR, but they can't. 5 seconds before the Lord has happened. So these are the games, these are the moments, specific moments that you have to look out for if you're on it, because these were the moments where you lost from the previous game. So
look at the jungle, man.
Yep, it's all on it.
The Carmilla is just, it wasn't it.
Yeah.
We've seen it before, but you're down 3,000 gold. And I think all he had was, what, Cursed Helm and another half item, basically, at this point. I mean, that is not where you want to be. I'm sure this one, once again, is probably... I don't think it's going to be an ending push here with this Lord, despite being up this much. But because they can still relatively clear out these waves. They can still hold on, but they might lose all the base turrets, especially since the shields were worked on, and Onyx got all these waves lined up. So they're going to start approaching the base here.
Yeah. The last time this happened, though, BTR were able to find something, so you got to be careful if you're Onyx.
Another airstrike being thrown down. Golden Hour already used, too. They're going to clear out that Lord. It's nearly taken down this mid turret. They're going to jump in with a shadow kill. I thought Kairi was going to use it. He actually holds on to it. So still, the Lord is cleared out. Now this bottom wave pushing forward. Bigatron, this is what we were talking about. This lineup allows them to clear these waves. And this whole time, this is the thing. Moreno's getting stacks here. Once again, they got to press onto this turret. A feathered airstrike dropped down. They're holding on, though. Clear out the waves.
Okay. Not too bad at all. Not too shabby at all for BTR, but they do lose their mid lane turret, which is going to be annoying for them to deal with. And now there is going to be the purple buff take coming out from side of Onyx. 90 seconds. That's another important milestone here for Onyx that they have to really be careful about, because not only were these moments the turning points in the previous games, but also it is a point where you're gonna see whether or not you can actually take out the Cecilion, because Cecilion eventually will be a problem. Right now it isn't, but eventually it will.
Daytona's welcome. You're going to go ahead and throw Shogun down really low. Can't escape. And now trapped in the golden hour. Finn circling Eagle. The rest of the team taking the shadow kill here too. They're trying to get back to the base, but Keyboy jumping forward. Moreno's still going to be able to survive because of the health. And now Finn in trouble. Kairi will just go ahead and grab this one. It might take him a little bit longer, but Finn knows it. He's gone. And now the rest of the team of Onyx in this base with a wave pushing in. They've got the full force. Kairi might not even need to be here for this, but they're going to do what they can. BTR on the defense, trying to clear out the waves. Daytona's welcome. Going to be used. Winter Crown. There's the feathered airstrike. They take out NNAEL. Lootby is in trouble, though. He does fall as Shogun's able to get it. The shadow kill is already going to be used. Now they have to heal up, but they're looking for more. They have the stacks there, and they're going to go for Emon. They're going to lock down on the crystal. They've got a wave, a cannon minion, but BTR will still be able to defend.
They hang on. They use the golden hour, I guess, to stop any kind of progression coming out from BTR, but I guess they just are aiming to get this Lord for themselves, which they will, freely, style. They have inflated their own lead by about 13,000 now. 13,000 gold. And there still is a chip on their shoulder. Because of whatever happened in games number 1 and 2, you cannot be complacent if you are Onyx. But you have a titanic lead now, though, with 2 turrets also down in the middle. So there's a lot that they can work with. Naisu, would you feel like there is still an angle where BTR eventually wins in this game?
Oh, man. That's so... I feel like that answer lies on if Moreno can stay alive. And Emon, I mean, even for Emon, you know, on this carry, he's kind of had a really tough game, honestly. Moreno's going to go ahead and try to clear this wave. Shogun will go ahead and tank this up, but this is an opening for Onyx to go ahead and take. Consecration's already going to be popped, too. They displace him a bit. Feathered airstrike going to be dropped down, and Moreno still going to be alive. He takes a couple shots from Kelra, but they're going to clear out the Lord, and now Shogun falls. The front line is gone. Emon doing what he can, guiding wins on out, but they clear out the wave again. And now BTR, they got to clear out this Canyon Minion and the wave in mid, but Onyx eyeing the base, eyeing the crystal here. They want to go for it. They're going to go ahead and just a last-ditch effort, trying to stay in as Finn is gone, and now it's too long for Shogun to be up, so a feathered airstrike's dropped down. Emon is working on what he can, but the crystal's going to go to Onyx anyway. Finally, Onyx makes it a series.
And with the amount of lead, about 13,000 and even more afterwards, they use it as a battering ram to push their way and force their way into game number 4. The series is not over yet. Another good start for Onyx this game, However, this time BTR were not able to resuscitate themselves. Unfortunately, this Sicilian with the Carmilla is still not working, at least for games of the future. That is game number 3. This time Kelra quickly gets out of their booth, as it seems like ONIC have found their way again back to this series. More of that after this break.